Hello, everyone, and welcome to Euroschmoe, the European and South African-based European after show. I'm so excited for this week. We had some amazing matches, but before we get into that, let me introduce my co-host. To my left is Liam.
Hey everyone, having a bad hair day today, hence the hat. So I'm rocking my Clementine look from Walking Dead, if anyone's aware. But other than that, all good. Excited to talk Throwdown today.
Cool. Excited for it. And below us, enjoying some D&D time is Matt. How are you, Matt?
Nah, not anymore. So yeah, I'm good. It was a great show, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Yep. So we'll just get right into it. I'll just say hello to Thomas and hello to Ryan. Good to see you guys here. Thank you for joining us at the new weird time. But glad you guys are here. So firstly, I figured we'll talk about the big news, which is Team Action is back. And poor Desk got violated by Andrew Guy. But it was an amazing match. They went to the third round. It was a fantastic match. I'll give my thoughts afterwards. But Liam, what were your thoughts of this match?
Well, we did some predictions last week. We're on Let's Get Ready. I think trying to predict who we thought Ben would play. I don't think any of us thought this would happen. I think we all were thinking it'd be Dan or maybe Adam Collins. I think Rick, the Rager Radius, was a bit of an outsider, which none of us predicted, but I liked it a lot. And obviously, we then found out that he challenged him to a team match when we thought he was going to play singles. Seems singles will be next week. I didn't ever suspect that his partner would be Andrew. Silly of me, really. I just didn't think that was going to happen, and it was quite a nice surprise when he did come out those curtains. I have missed Andrew as a player. He's very good on the desk. I've very much enjoyed him as a presenting alongside Mark, but it's nice to see Andrew, the player, the character, the heel, back in the Schmoedown, and he did not come back lightly. Within 5 minutes, he was humping the desk, and that's the Andrew I have missed. He was running around set like a lunatic. I think he definitely got into the heads of Brother Lomis in particular and Rick. And that's the character work which I think we are going to be really excited to see this year, which we now have the opportunity to see because of the in person and it being back in an actual studio rather than online. So I was thoroughly entertained throughout. I don't know if Action's going to be a full-time thing, if this is a one-off. I assume, seeing as they've won, they're going to continue. It wouldn't make sense to just stop, but it's great that Andrew's back as a competitor. I didn't realise how much I missed him until I watched that match, and it was a really, really entertaining watch. So, I thoroughly entertained. I will say I was not expecting a TKO win. That shocked me a lot. I think round one was pretty even. Obviously, Andrew went perfect, Ben went perfect, Rick went perfect. I think Brother just missed the question. He went for Saw, didn't he? But yeah, that was a unexpected victory to go to win that much. But obviously, it was the round two which sunk them. But yeah, loved. It's so pleased he's back. Really happy, and I can't wait to see what happens now. Is he still going to be on the desk? Is he going to be his sort of persona, like very calm Andrew Guy on the desk, and then become the player and become the heel? Is he just not going to be on the desk anymore? I don't know.
I wonder because there was a bit of a throwaway line in the interview where he said he would be managing Ben Bateman. Do you think that'll cause some ructions with Kate.
I'm a bit confused to what's happening at the moment. I mean, where was Kate? Like, could she not make that filming day? Or she's been in scenes, so I don't know what the hell's happening. But is that his partner for good now? Is he going to get someone else? So many questions, which is what I like to have with the Schmoedown. So I'm thoroughly entertained. I wonder what your opinions were of the match.
Matt, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, I don't think they are going to break up Team Action again so soon. We all can see that on Facebook, on Twitter. Everyone was so excited, and to be fair, this is how you build a show. Sorry, I just want to say hi to Shug again. I didn't see him in the chat. Uh, so, hi, Shug.
Hey.
And I just want to say that they won't break them up. No way. They are good for the show. I think that the show reveal was perfect. I didn't expect to be Guy, even when Bateman whispered the name of his partner. Right? I knew that. Then they already said that Jen wouldn't be it. I expected someone else, uh, someone like someone from left field, but didn't expect Andrew to do it. And will say that Andrew apparently was studying the whole time he was on the desk because he went perfect and he was so excited. Like it took 5 years, but he did it. And I will be fair. I think that performance from Andrew won them the match because when I saw that it's Andrew Guy, I'll be fair. I was worried because I know that Brother Lom is hit or miss. He can have very good match or very like mediocre match, but I was worried on how Guy would perform, and then maybe because of that it would made Bateman lose. But Guy did pull his weight and more. So great match. I love the use of the challenge. Want to say that citing the rules uh, exactly. For me, there was no discussion after it. Uh, was that a proper challenge, and would would they give them the points? Because I wouldn't like it if they didn't, because I just think that after Ben so nicely said in the rule book, you can hear that when the movie is specified, it's enough to just say the 1, 2, or 3 or whatever. And they gave them the points and great gameplay. So I love it. I love this match so much. After the Sam Marisol match, this is my favorite match of the season so far because it had everything. It had good gameplay. It had surprises. It had good character work. So this week in general, when I look at the regular Titans, so no pay per view, this is the best week I had for me. I also loved all the storylines. We will get to them, and yeah, it wasn't like they got easy first round questions, so Guy knew them all. Guy just knew them all, and I was surprised, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm happy. Action did win because now will have more fun with them. So yeah.
And I like how Thomas put this. He made use of the whole studio, which was fantastic.
But that poor
Uh,
desk though, that desk was
yeah,
violated by Guy.
I watched a bit of LGR's breakdown of this match last night, and Brother Lomas was on, and he was so distraught about that poor desk being violated.
I
But
get it.
I just wanted. There was one thing that I sort of that went through my head when I was going through this match was the way Andrew Guy kept nagging on them and nagging on them. It kind of made me feel sorry for Brother Lomas and Rick Radis, almost put them in the face role in a way, because Andrew Guy was such a good heel. And I was like, okay, are we rooting for Brother Lomas and Rick Radis in this one? Even though last year they were such
Heels.
heels. I wonder, are they making them more tweeners? Are they making them more face? Let's get your thoughts on this first, Matt.
Matt's muted.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry,
Uh,
I'm coughing, so I mute myself so
It's
you don't
okay.
hear the coughs. Yeah, they will made them tweeners. I think that's the proper part. You do that with these characters. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out Ryan also kind of had my thoughts here. Was he a bit too obnoxious? Loved seeing a guy back as a competitor, and I know his character, but do you think he was a bit too obnoxious? What's your thoughts? Thomas doesn't think so, but Leo thinks that they still heels. Liam, your thoughts on that?
I feel like you know what you're getting if you're playing Andrew Guy, and that's part of the expectation now. Andrew Guy is the probably greatest heel Schmoedown's ever had, to be honest. I think Chandru's pushing for a close second and could potentially have taken him over, but I that's part of playing Andrew Guy. If you agree a match with Andrew Guy, you have to expect that he's going to try and put you off your game. He's going to run around the studio. Maybe not expect he's going to violate a desk. I mean, that was just a wonderful match. But you have to expect that he's going to do some shenanigans. And we've seen it can get to the best players, i.e. Dan Murrell. Like, no one saw a guy beating Murrell when Murrell first came back. And neither did Christian. He's very openly spoke about how that was not in the plan. So, you have to be prepared for that. And I don't know if they actually knew it was going to be Guy or not, but I think at this point it's fair game. It's part of the Schmoedown. It's part of his character. You have to be on board for it. That's how I feel. And if you can't hack it, then maybe you should turn down the match. Which is really harsh, but that's what Guy is, isn't it? That's Guy's character. So you have to roll with the punches on this one.
And not to kind of put too down a note on Poor Reckoning, because they actually did pretty well themselves and were great actors. That cut scene before the match where Rick Radis was saying he's burned every bridge, and then he's like, is that what I think it is? And it's a Swiss Family Robertson that he's holding. You think it's a Bible, but it's Swiss Family Robertson. Brother Lomas as an actor is brilliant. I know I've had my difficulties with him as a character, but I have to admit he's a pretty good actor, and he did really well. What did you guys think of the breakdown in the interview where Rick Radis wanted that stricken from the record because he was playing with the commentator? I thought that was brilliant, kind of heel interview work. Brilliant acting. But what did you think, Liam?
Yeah, I liked it. I think that match in particular highlighted some of the best characters we have in the Schmoedown at the moment, all four of them. Particularly Radis. I also really like that he's challenged him in singles. Radis has a really good record, like 3-0, and some of them are like tough opponents. And Ben Bateman's going to be a real test. And I'm not ruling him out of that. I think Bateman's favourite. But if he can beat Bateman, then I don't think he's far off. Surely he can't be far off like a number one shot, like 4-0. That's very impressive. He must be close to one. So, yeah, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Andrew calling Jen, Jessica as well. I believe that's what he did.
Mhm.
Just nice to have him back, and then just very entertaining to watch all around. Big fan.
Awesome. Matt, your thoughts on that little
Yeah,
interview bit?
I think, as Liam said, we saw some of the best characters, if not the best four characters in the singles we have. Like Red is really really good. I know that Brother Lomis is not for everyone's taste, but he is a great character, and he keeps in the character even in the group. So I like that as well. Uh, Bateman guy was always great on the character department as well. So all he did, striking from the record, playing with Gen Jess, however you want to call it, is very very great heel work. Um, just being a whiny and angry because he lost. And yeah, I think that show is looking more and more like a wrestling show, like I think Christian would like it to be. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, there's just one more thing that I wanted to ask you. So now we've seen, I think it's about four new teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
What are your guys' thoughts? Who would you want to see again? Who do you think is your favorite of the new teams this season? Liam, I'll go to you first.
Um, hmm. Probably, I think the team I'm most excited to see what they can do is JTE and Paul Preston. I think they probably have the best shot of potentially rising up to a title. I'm very excited to see what they can do in this league. My other one would be Whitney and Whitney Seibold, and I'm sorry, but I forgot.
Ty Lieberman.
Thank you. I knew it was Ty, and I can't remember either of the team names, but probably Paul and JT for me.
Okay. Matt, your thoughts on that?
Well, for me, it's a ruling class. I know you. I love JT, and you probably uh, like expected me to go with Preston and JTE. I do want to see the match between Preston, JT, and ruling class, but I just love the characters the ruling class represents, and I think that Flirt and Flaus is a great manager as a manager. So. I want more of them, and I do see them as a dark horses of this season. I said that for the King Arthur last season, if you remember, and I was right. So I do see them as the dark horses, right? Because
Mhm.
we do forget Whitney did had the number one contender, or even was that the championship match with the Bips when he and the Bips was a team. I think it was the number one contender, right?
It was a championship match when he went against the Shy Wolves. I think
Well,
they
yeah.
just lost.
So Bips didn't do that all alone. So Whitney's pretty smart, and I think that Ty is good as well. So I just think that they will do good, and I like their characters as well. So yeah.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of love in the chat for the ruling class and the movement. They are pretty good teams. Leo and them, everyone seems to love the movement. I must say, but Ryan going for the Reckoning, it was a brilliant team. I honestly think that Video Dolph needs a bit more love. I would love to see them, if they gelled and had some chemistry, I'd love to see them kind of get a match or two more. Even uh, Liz Shannon Miller and Brendan the Hornet Hanna
No,
didn't kind of gel very well for me, but
I
it
hate
wasn't
that
my
pair.
favorite of the teams. But yeah, uh, yeah, I definitely would have liked to have seen Video Dolph get at least one more match. But yeah, we'll move on from there. And swiftly, I must add, because we're going to
Nice.
the Hornet facing. Thank you. Facing Jesse Swift. And it was a pretty good match up until the end of the second round. I thought Jesse had Brandon on the ropes for a while, at least in round one. And then uh, Hornet came back, and pretty much it was down to that sci-fi fantasy and Jesse getting in his own head and not being able to get out of it again for that third round. Liam, I'll go to you
Mm.
first. What are your thoughts on this match?
So first of all, I need to apologise to Brandon Hanna because I slated him when he played with Liz, and I'm not going to be too polite about this match either. My favourite part of this match was that Rachel was on the desk calling. Great to see her back. I'm so excited she's going to be doing that this season. And obviously, it's nice to have her on the desk because she can help mark out when some of the words come up which she aren't aware of, which I fully understand. I don't know them either. Rachel put it really well when she was saying, I can't remember exactly how she termed it, but she said Jesse and Brandon are like just trying to reach the level of your Mikes, Maras, Parkers, Chandrus. Neither of these players are at that level. And that was clear from this match. Neither of these players, I cannot see them beating anyone of that caliber. So I feel like you've got a Mara, as I said, Mike, Chandru, Parker, maybe one or two others. They are not there. I don't think that they're strong enough to get there either. The match was okay. I think Jesse obviously had a better round one. I just think it showed the golfing class between those top tier IG players and then the ones who were trying to get there. Neither of them, in my opinion, are ready. I think yes, Brandon won this match, but I don't have much confidence that he's going to be able to do it if he gets paired against someone like that. So I'm sorry to say that. Maybe you prove me wrong, but I would like to have seen him. I'd like to have seen Brandon have to answer around three. Also, more than just his two. I know he answered his two. I wanted obviously. Jesse couldn't pull any of his round three, so we don't know maybe what Brandon could have done. But I just don't think they're on the level of the top tier players in IG, and I don't think they're going to get there. So sorry, that's my hot take. I didn't love the match. I didn't think it was a very good quality match. I've got to be honest. I think the best stuff was around the work, like the scenes before it, to do with Jesse and his annoyance with Coy. And then, I don't love Brandon's character either. Sorry. I think he worked better as a heel. I don't trust him as a face, and it just doesn't sit right. It just feels forced. And I'm still annoyed that he's paired with Liz because I think she's too good to be with Brandon as a singles teams player. I'm going to stop shitting on Brandon now. Excuse my language. I let someone else. I'm sure you guys enjoyed this match more than I did, but no, not for me. Not one of my favorites.
I got to be honest. I didn't see them as being there yet. Maybe one day they'll be at that level. But I mean, look, Jesse's only been in this league for what, 2 years now. He still has time to kind of get his footing, find ways to get out of his own head, and maybe one day we'll see him rise to the ranks of the Maras, the Mike Kalinowski. But it'll take a lot of work. And Edison said, "Genius is 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration." But yeah,
me and Thomas, honestly, this season we just connect. Thomas used to always disagree with me, but not anymore.
it's ever since you guys have been on camera together, you've just
That's all we
gelled.
needed.
But I honestly I thought Jesse was doing pretty well. He missed 3 questions in round 1, which okay, you don't often see in any geekdom, especially at the higher levels. But I mean, look, I think we can forgive that of them. My argument for you with the Liz Shannon Miller thing, though, would be that I think they're going to go for more of a Liz focuses on singles rather than being part of a team, which I would honestly prefer myself. But I don't know, Matt. What did you think of this match?
So sorry. I'm okay with this match. I don't have Liam's feelings because I knew immediately it wouldn't be like Mike Amaru or Mike Mara, and I'm okay with it. Like mm, as we talked in the beginning of the season, like uh, with the Wild Berries when they played, like I'm okay with having that kind of let's call them lower performing matches because that's normal in every sport, in every sport entertainment as well, to be fair. Like you have your main events, then you have your other cards, then you have your beginning of the season, then you have your middle undercard, which is probably the worst match of a day in sport entertainment. So I'm actually okay with it because I expected what I got. I am sad for Jesse because when the match started, I was just like, okay, Jesse's keeping up. I didn't expect that, to be fair, but he proved to me something more than he did last season, to be fair. So from this match, I my main takeaway is Jesse's improvement because I do think that he improved. He had a bad round three. Some great players had some bad round threes. Just ask William Bibiani. He had a problem with round three for years. So that's I do I'm I'll be honest. I'm more worried for Hannah because I know he's studying, but I think he's on the basically the same level now for 2 years at least. Uh, and I don't see that big improvement. So I saw the big improvement in Jesse. I didn't see that big improvement in Hannah. I know he won, but yeah, I also liked Rachel's being on a desk and her her conversation with Alice when they were uh, rating the questions was priceless for me because was whenever she told something, I just told to myself because Alice is gold with these names. When he needs to read the Harry Potter or Middle Earth names, it's always gold, and it was so beautiful for me when I saw that he didn't even try to read the name. He just took the pause and let Rachel do the name. That was the highlight of the match for me. I'll be
Yep.
honest. I was surprised that Jesse didn't get some of those 3 round questions. I'll be honest. Uh, you know what my forte is, so you know what I was surprised the most.
Yeah,
So
the Harry Potter ones.
yes, and I do think that he could won this match. I'm sad he didn't. Uh, I do get Hannah as a face. Actually, I know Liam doesn't, but it will take some getting used to. But you only
So
know him as a heel, so that's why I think
No, but
yeah,
he
it's.
and
wasn't always a heel, was he? He started as a
on
face.
on the case of Hannah being a heel, Leo actually brings up a good point, and it's something that they've been kind of teasing in the commentary is that he's a heel. Leo still thinks that he's a heel underneath. And they've kind of been teasing that in the commentary, especially Andrew Guy and a bit of Mark Ellis. Do you
Hmm.
think this is all a ruse? Do you think that if he goes on a losing streak that he turns heel against Koi and them?
I don't
Liam?
trust him. I don't trust it. It seems so false to me. Like, which is fine if it's part of what they're trying to do. Like, I think the whole mask thing is like trying to play into that. And I just want to bring up what Thomas said, because yeah, I again in complete agreement with Thomas. We're in sync nowadays, me and Thomas. But yes, I'm not. Please. It's really important. I should say I'm not. I'm sitting here as someone who would probably score 0 to 1 points in the full game of an IG. Like I'm not. I cannot do what they do. That's so super impressive. I'm just saying. I don't think that either of them are at the level to be challenging yet. Maybe they can push and study, and maybe like later in the season they'll be there. But I look at someone like Chandru, who came into the league as someone on that similar level and is now raised his game to that level where he can now compete. I don't think either of them are there yet, and that's what my point was with that. But no, Hannah's not a face. You can't force it to me. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But there is one other question that kind of, this is an interesting one. Jesse versus Moose needs to happen. Could be very interesting.
I like that.
I kind of like that idea. But there was a question that I wanted to ask you. So it seems like in the interview, Jesse was kind of saying that because he didn't have a manager, he got into his own head, and that he would like it to have a manager. Now, there's a question that I want to ask you later on, but I'll get to that. Do you think that he could join someone like, say, who did? I think Liz, Shannon Miller, and them faced the movement, didn't they?
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm too tired to remember this. Matt, help us out.
Okay.
So I think him and Liz Shan Miller faced. Yes, I think they faced
No, it was
ruling
ruling
class
class,
actually.
wasn't it? Ruling class,
Ruling
yeah.
class.
Wait,
Ruling
yeah,
class.
yeah.
Ruling class.
The
So
movement faced no. The movement class. No. Yeah, because Flirt and Flaus was slapped Koi.
Yes,
oh
That's
yes,
why.
he wanted
yeah.
Shazam, right? And then instead,
Yes.
they gave him Liz and Brandon.
Yes, you're right. So my question is, do you think? And Leo correcting us in the comments as always.
Yeah, we would be lost without you, mate.
I love him. We would so be. Do you think that we could see a rivalry building up with the Flirt and Floss's faction if Jesse joins with the Flirt and Floss, and then we see kind of a feud building between the Flirt and Floss and the quirky jerks, as Jesse called them. Liam, thoughts on that?
So as Ryan points out, I don't think there's many options for Jesse to go. Most have, but Flirt and Flaus is he hasn't got one yet, has he? So maybe that could be a manager for him. Yeah, I mean it's definitely started now, hasn't it? So and also Flirt and Flaus has got history with Koi now, having challenged Shazam. So makes sense. Seems like a good fit. I can see it happening.
Cool. And Matt, you know how in AEW we have these factions always warring. We have the Elite facing off against the Dark Order and all that sort of thing. Do you think something similar is happening here in the Schmoedown, where we'll see factions having little mini feuds here and there throughout the year?
Yeah, let's not forget for who Jen is working, right? And yeah, I think that Christian will take a lot of inspiration from AEW more than WWE right now. Probably it will be an old WWE thing, but for right now, I think that AEW is his main inspiration. So I do think that many factions will be warring. We already have setups for so many. We have our ultimate bad faction, which is Roxy's, and I love that. And then you have your. We will see. Probably Dungeon will be ultimate good faction, and then you will have some just wars between good and the bad factions. A little wars, but probably the biggest war will be the Dungeon versus Corruption. Sorry, Dungeon versus Stars right now, and then probably depending on how the matches go, we will have more.
I
Yeah, but
really
I don't
love.
think, like you said for Jesse, I don't think he will go into any faction.
Okay, that's fair. Uh, would have been nice to see, but that's just a fantasy for me. I like Christian's idea here. He says I'd like to see a 5v5 faction war like Survivor Series match. That would be a very interesting kind of match. Very difficult logistically, but could be kind of fun to see one day. Your guys' thoughts, Liam? Thoughts on that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'd love for what if they had the top two factions at the end of the season, and then at Spectacular, they do that type of 5v5 where you have like each round is dedicated to a different topic. So you might have your round one Star Wars, your round two IG, your round three is your team, and your round four is your singles player or something like that. Don't know exactly how it would work, but if they could figure it out, that would be really fun. Something quite unique. So I'd be quite interested in watching something like that go down. But that's in my fantasy dreams. And Ryan, I'd love to see them try something like that. I know Christian has spoken about trying something like that before. I think the difficulty is, like you alluded to, Ben, logistically to get 10 people on the same day is probably quite challenging. But something like Spectacular is probably where they could do something like that if able. So yeah, hopefully one day.
Okay.
Yeah, for me as well. I would like the faction war, like 5, but I would like it more only if it's like Liam said, like team singles, inner victim, Star Wars. I need it to be everything. Like if you're going to do a faction war, if you are going to do Survivor Series type match for like tagging in, right? Then I would prefer to be just faces versus heels, and then like you have Raw versus SmackDown, right? Like that became like the thing in the Survivor Series 1 year, and then it was their own pay per view sometimes. But then you have like the representatives of one side for any faction, and yeah, and then you have representatives from other faction that is heels, and then it can be, for example, someone from Corruption, someone from Dungeon, because Corruption is apparently now face, I think. Then you have someone from the Stars. Then you can have someone from the Flirt and Flaus faction, because I think they will be heels. Then you have someone from Koi, like someone from that, and you don't know who will be coming. You just know that it's going to be 5 versus 5, and then, for example, every round, it's like in the free for all. Every round, if you beat that person, he goes away, and you have 5 rounds, and then you have to beat everyone to win. And I think that would be fun.
That sounds like an awesome idea. I think we should send some of these to Christian. But yeah, just want to say, hey, Luke, it's good to see you again.
Our honorary Euroschmoe member, Luke.
Yes,
Who's
it
more
is.
European.
And yeah, and Thomas actually brought up a point that I wanted to actually touch on now, which is spoiler is back. I can't wait. So spoiler alert: Nick betrays Jacoby. And we kind of had a bit of a tease with this in the and previously on the Friday Night Titans, and then we had Nick Harley kind of singing and Jacoby coming up to him and saying, "Hey, we need to sort out what's happening with the stars." Later on, at the end of the night, Jacoby goes to Jacoby and Nick go to speak to Roxy and the rest of the stars and say, "Listen, this isn't you." And Roxy says, "I told you, don't trust anyone." And it is at that point that Nick Harley betrays the spoiler, betrays Jacoby, and goes to join the stars. Uh, I have my ideas of where I think this is going, but I'll go to you first, Matt. What did you think of
So
this?
yeah, I think, and hear me out. I think it's going to be Ethan and Harley as a team.
Hmm.
Uh, I think this is going to be a great team. To be fair, because I do think that Ethan knows that those older movies, and Nick probably does know better than newer ones. And for the love of God, please make him spoiler again. Like now he's in a heel faction. For the love of God, please make him a spoiler again, because face Nick Harley, the new character didn't work. Please go back to that awesome character. Like I know that people will get mad if he spoils something very big, like, but he can spoil like small things from the older movies, like or anything, like just or just let him spoil something and let him make let's bring back spoiler again, please. Like
Mm.
I want him as a spoiler now. Really, I want that character back. And I do think that they are doing Jacoby with Janine
Yes, me too.
again.
Yeah.
I think that Janine was happy with Jacoby. I think that she was happy how they performed. To be fair, and I think that they both liked each other as a teammate. So I think that they said to Christian, we would like to stay like privately as a team this season. So, and I think that Christian obliged and made a great storyline around it. I think yeah, Jacoby is going to be Dungeons player, and
Hmm.
he's a great pickup because Jacoby played great. Like I think that he lost from the kid, but he was close. He was close of beating the kid, and that's not small feat.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, before I go to you, Liam, I just wanted to say, so spoiler living up to his nickname, kind of spoiling some of the results on Twitter in the off season. But yeah, you and Ryan and Leo basically touched on where I think this is going, which is Jacoby going to the stars. I mean to the dungeon, and we have a face-off between Spoiler and Mr. Owen and Jacoby and Janine. So, Liam, what were your thoughts on this? What did you think of the acting?
Yes. So I completely agree with that. I think Jacoby is definitely going to go back with Janine. And I'm pleased because they didn't really get an opportunity to have many matches because of Mark leaving Jeff. So obviously Janine stepped in very, very well in that titles match and played with Jeff in the Odder couple. And it didn't give Janine and Jacoby a proper opportunity to formulate that team. And I think they were good together. And I'm glad. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. I think that's a good fit. I wasn't surprised at all with the turn when the first cutscene had Jacoby and Nick talking. I was like, "There's no way Nick knows what he's doing here." I wasn't buying that. It wasn't a shocker, but I'm still pleased that they've done this. I remember last season, you were talking about Teresa. I remember talking a lot about Nick Harley's character in the FCL in particular, and how exciting and different and fun it was. And then when he was brought to the main league, he completely lost his character. So I'm pleased that it seems like he's going to go back and we get to see his spoiler persona in the main league, which a lot of us haven't had an opportunity to see yet, who didn't get time to catch up the FCL. So really excited to see where that goes now. I agree. I think Ethan will be teaming up with Nick. That's going to be a very scary team. They're both really strong players. I'm excited to see what they can do. My assumption will be that their first match will be against Janine and Jacoby. We're going to get Blackjack back. We'll see what happens. But just need to let you know, guys, I'm going to have to shoot after talking about this topic. And I won't be on next week's show either because I'm at a wedding. So I'm going to shoot now. But it's been great to catch up with you all. Been a good week in Schmoe Down. Enjoy the rest of the show, guys. And I will catch up with you in 2 weeks' time. So cool. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone in the comments. And I shall see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Liam.
So I just want to touch on this. Leo actually made a good point. The sunglass on top of the head was a giveaway. I didn't even notice that. That was a brilliant pickup there, Leo. Matt, Brian brings up a good point, which will actually bring us into predictions. He says he could see next week's match being Blackjack versus Erwin and Harley. So we'll go into our predictions, which I had as Jacoby facing Nick Harley. Which would you prefer to see? Jacoby versus Nick Harley or Blackjack versus
singles? I would like to see singles, but I don't think they will do that this week, because I think they will do a cutscene when Jacoby joins the dungeon next week, and then in 2 weeks time, I think we will have that match. Yeah, because next week probably the main event will be Bateman versus Rick, right? And I think because of the storyline, this is probably going to be a main event as well.
So, what are your predictions if they do face off in a singles match?
I really don't know. I will have to think. I would go. I would go Jacoby, but to be fair, not sure, because I saw Nick play in the FCL. I saw him play with Jacoby as well. They know each other's weaknesses and strengths, both of them. So I don't know.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And if they face off in a teams match, Blackjack versus Owen and Harley.
I will go Erwin and Harley. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think Erwin is the toppest, the biggest, the best player in that table, and I don't take anything away from Jacoby or Janine, but we saw already Erwin versus Janine, and Janine did hold her own, but Ethan is on another level, and I do think that Nick and Jacoby is 50-50, as I said, so I would go then Ethan, Nick, because of Ethan.
Fair. Thomas is going with the spoiler if they face off in a singles match, and I get that. He was a brilliant player in the FCL and held his own in the teams match.
Yeah.
Teams matches, actually. And
as I said, it's 50-50 for me.
Yeah. And Jacoby went perfect in his first match, in his debut match. So, as you say, 50-50, it could go either way. Yeah, so shall we move on to the definite main event of this next week Friday's match, which is going to be the Boss versus Rick the Rager Radis. So now Rick Radis has a 0-3 record. The Boss has a I don't know what his record was, but he didn't do so well last year, especially in singles.
Wait, no,
Um,
no. Redis is undefeated.
yes, sorry, 3-0, 3-0. Thank you. Um, but yeah. So, Matt, your thoughts? Who do you see winning that one?
Yeah, I see Bateman winning this one. I know that like Redis did very well last season, but to be fair, I don't think Radus faced the caliber of opponent Bateman is. Like, if you are going to put it in, for example, UFC terms, so you just correct the top 10 or top 5. Let's just say you beat people in top 10, and then now you have to contend for the championship, and it's the first time you're going to get a top 5 ranked opponent to fight. And I think that Oradus is in that position right now, uh, because yeah, they they need to see if he can handle a real top 5 guy. And in Schmodown terms, we have more top 5 guys than just 5, but they need to see if they can. We talked about it in the Geekdom division, if he can hang with those upper echelon people. And yeah, I don't think he's there yet. He could be, not yet. So I think Bateman is going to win. What I think that is Regis's best bet is either to hit his favorite category right away, or even to risk it with a wild card, and get spinners if he can, right? Because
Hmm,
yeah, I just think I do think that Bateman will be better than him in the first round, so he will probably need to cash up in the second, and third round is always a coin flip. So yeah,
yeah, that's fair. Um, Leo has Bateman, and Thomas has Bateman winning. Um, so I think that is it for. Oh no, we have. Do you have a wild card for us,
yes,
Matt?
yes, I did prepare my wild card, right? So this is my wild card today for you. I will be saddened that our friend Liam is not here, but my wild card here is, we already had two returns this season. Sam Levine returned and Guy returned for the plane. Who do you think, and all the guys that listens and are here, who do you think could be the next return in the Schmodown?
Hmm,
So someone who may be retired, who said is going to be on the desk or something. Who do you think is the next that
that's
can return?
that's an excellent question. I know a lot of people want to see the guy that uh, Scott Mance. A lot of people want to see him. Um, yeah. Who would I want to see? Probably Roka's top 10 teammate. I want to see
Matt
what he
knows.
can do. Yeah, Matt Nost. I'd love to see what he can do in singles if he ever came back and like actually gave it a go. I would love to see that myself. How about you, Matt? Who would you love to see come back?
So who would I love to see is Jason Inman.
Hmm.
That's that. Like, he's still the man that was the first to defend the inner geekdom belt, and when he lost,
The-
he knew he was done, because he knew he had to move. I think
hmm,
that is a common knowledge, that came out with the years. So when he lost his belt, he knew he's done with the Schmodown, because he moved from the LA. And yeah,
hmm.
but I do think that uh, Scott Mans is the actually man who could come it's most likely to come back, at
Hmm.
least for one match or two, because I do think that Scott Mans liked the theatrics of it all, and with the live setting back, uh, I think he could be back mm, to, for the play, and I do think that maybe not this season, but I do think that Rachel will be coming back at some point.
Hmm.
Now with Sam back, I think she's going to get each as well. Yeah.
That's fair. We have some comments here. Thomas thinks Matt Nost and Manta Nost are the likely ones.
No,
Uh,
unlikely.
yeah, are highly likely. Unlikely, sorry. Um, I see that. But Leo says Jim Vavida and Adam Hlavik. Uh, thoughts on that, Matt?
Well, I I don't know if Adam can hang in the current inner kingdom, but I loved Jim. Jim gave me the best bloopers reel ever with the delivering of the his produce right in on home in the middle of the match. It's brilliant, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it would be good. I still would like to see Scott because I think that Pence it's a great character. I, I actually think he would be a great manager as well. If they could get him just as a manager, I think that would be a win for the Schmoedown.
Hmm.
Because he played a good character, like as Christian always said, his personality turned to the 100%, and that's the best character. So I think that Scott Mance would be actually a good manager as well. Uh, yeah,
That
that's it.
that's fair. That's completely fair. And I would love to see him come back and battle someone. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for our show this week. Um, thanks to everyone for joining us. I just want to say before we knock off, we did upload a new Save My Movies. It's as promised. It's the Batman Save My Movies. We had myself and Matt on, being hosted by Liam. It was quite a fun night, and I think we had some fun debates. Poor Liam, I think, was uh, very on the edge of his seat at the end there,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I think it was the funniest show we did with Say My Movies.
definitely agree with you there. But uh, please go and watch it. Give us some comments. Tell us what you think is the best Batman movie. And yeah, there is one other thing that I want to touch on, guys. I would like to get this channel to 100 subscribers by the time Collider Collision comes. So if you guys can help share these videos, uh, uh, get your friends to subscribe. That would be awesome. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Comment after the replay. That'll help us a lot. And that's all that I have to say. Matt, is there anything you want to?
No, my friend, I think you plugged everything. Yeah, guys, please comment on all the Say My Movies. Please tell us your top three. It will help us. Let's make some discussions to have good times in the comments as well as watching the video, and follow us in Euroschmoe next week when we will be again talking about next week's Titans.
Cool. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week, 8:30 UK, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Hope to see you there soon. Bye.
Bye.